From Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parashat Vayishlach, Assimilationist Esav. We all know that Esav married two Hittite women, and they found disfavor in the eyes of both Isaac and Rebekah. Even his beloved father, who loved him so much, found his wives to be just too much to take. Morat Ruach, it brought him negative spirit, bitter spirit. But I'd like to go beyond that as well. If we look in chapter 36, we find a chapter that has 43 verses about the Toldot Esav, about the family of Esav. Now, why would you have so much information about Esav's family? And really, did he have such a big family? In this short time, all of a sudden, he has 43 verses about his family tree. Of course, if you look, you see that it projects deep into the future. But it also describes a very extensive family tree. Okay, well, Esav was beloved to Yitzchak, and he is related to us. He's a brother of Yaakov. Okay, we have to tolerate a certain amount of airtime for Esav and his family. Okay. We also want to know about the birth of Amalek, who is going to be one of our main enemies. So we need to go through the family tree to get to that as well. But here's the part that's very strange. In verse 21, all of a sudden we have Ela b'nei Seir hachori. These are the children of Seir. And we list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sons of Seir. Only 2 of them have any relevance to Esav's family tree. One, the Alibama, his wife Alibama, is the great-granddaughter of Seir. And Timnah, who is the daughter-in-law to Esav, Timnah is also a daughter of Seir. So Eliphaz is married to the generation of the grandparents. Alibama, who is Esav's wife, is married to the generation of the grandchildren. But in any event, what's not confusing, that's confusing, but what's not confusing is that we have an extensive list, basically, of Esav's in-laws. He married into a family which began with a man named Seir, after whom that whole region is called Seir. Strangely enough, Esav is very hairy, and Ish Seir, and he's hairy, and he married into a family of Seir, has to do with hair. But in any event, Esav is married into this family. Why do we need to list the entire family? If you list my family tree, do I need the family tree of my in-laws? So here we see that in-laws are very important. It's connected. In fact, when Esav married into this family, he didn't just marry Alibama, or his son didn't just marry Timnah. They married into the entire Seir clan. So much so that Esav was catapulted into tremendous, not only fame, but power, because he was among this family of Alufim, generals, officers, whatever you call it, tribal leaders. And by this one marriage to Alibama, all of a sudden, he is able to amass tremendous power immediately. He becomes very powerful. He kind of takes over the whole Seir. In fact, Seir and Edom, they become synonymous. He becomes one nation with them. What the Torah is getting at is that whereas in the chapter about the abduction of Dinah, the whole point is that no, you can't marry a Hittite, cannot marry a Dinah, certainly can't abduct her and can't rape her. And no, we're not interested in being Am Echad, in the words of Hamor, the mayor, the chieftain of Shechem. We're not interested in being one nation with the people of Shechem. But Esav is. Esav becomes one with those people, so that we want to know, if you want to know his family tree, you need to know the family tree of his in-laws, because he really became part of the in-laws business. That's what Israel is all about. He's really deeply connected with them. He's not one of us anymore. He's part of Seir now. And Edom and Seir, it's all the same. It's all the same at this point. Elah ben Esav, who Edom? He is Edom, but he takes over an area of Seir as well. Here the Torah lays out a very important principle. You want to be part of the Jewish people, you have to remain Am Levadad Yishkon. You have to remain alone. It would have been very convenient for Yaakov and family to marry into the chieftain of Shechem, an important city, major high point in Israel, to marry into that family. And all of a sudden you'd have instant power, instant stronghold on the land. But he would also be indistinguishable from the people of Shechem and Hamor. Rather, he said, no, we're going to go off on our own. How that happened, the whole story, is an unseemly story of the rejection of Dinah's family. But the principle was established. Yaakov will not be co-opted into another family. Esav, on the other hand, a whole different story. Esav is more than happy. He's anxious to become powerful. He does so by marrying into a powerful family and thereby loses his identity. Esav, Edom, Seir, it's all connected. In fact, he's part and parcel. He's hairy, just like Seir, his father-in-law. His name means hairy. It's all connected. He is completely swallowed up by the family. Learn here the importance of Jews remaining to themselves. And when we don't, we become part of another family. It can be very nice. It's very beautiful. However, it's also does not enable us to be a separate people. Why do we want to be separate? Not because we're better or worse or anything else than anyone else. As long as we are separate, we can continue our unique mission to further God's Torah, mission of the Torah, which eventually will bring blessing to all the nations of the world. We can't do that when we're all mixed in with other people and their agendas. We have to have our clear agenda, our clear peoplehood. And that can bring blessing to the entire world. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfarad Beth Lameth Congregation for a discussion of Parshat Vayishlach. Join us each week for a discussion of the Parsha and the holidays. And thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.